As the scene fades in, you see that Angel and John have safely made it out of the cave. Angel wanted to take a moment to breathe, but John continued. He seemed extremely worried, only slowing down for a moment to look both ways before running across the road. "An old place," he muttered. "That could be anywhere." The two of them continued to run for what seemed like forever, hoping that maybe if they kept running they could go back in time. But eventually, John found a cliff. Angel trying to stop him. "Careful." It was extremely steep and there was running water at the bottom. John was breathing hard as he looked over the edge of the gorge. "You saw what was happening, right? That stuff was turning the cat into that thing we saw earlier. That has to be what happened here." Angel also took the chance to catch her breath. "Yes, it's taking them over. Corrupting them?" she questioned, looking over at John for some sort of confirmation. "That's why we're here to stop it. And I have a feeling that cat's the last thing left." Angel was satisfied with that answer and nodded as they both continued to climb the steep cliff, the stars seemingly shining brighter than they ever have. Once they had gotten far enough to where they couldn't smell that sour scent anymore, Angel stopped and looked around. "This place seems old." John nodded. "Old enough. And there's not any sign of the black stuff around. Now, we just have to find an antler-shaped branch. Seems easy enough," he said, looking back at Angel, who began to gently pick up flowers and look under things to find a branch. John, she whispered, looking around as he caught her eyes and walked over. "Do you see them?" A large grin begins to grow on his face. "I sure do. Let's get one back to that cat." John carefully leans down and picks up the branch before turning tail and running. Angel quickly catches up and they both go back in the direction they believe they came in. Thankfully, John had a very good sense of direction, so Angel trusted him, and before long, they made it back to the cave opening. Angel hesitated for only a second before John quickly entered. However, what the two were greeted by was not the sickly old cat on the floor, but a new creature. John nearly dropped the branch as he reached the mouth of the cave and saw the thing. "John, it's huge now. It's so much bigger than when it was a kid. And where is that cat?" John looked up at the creature. "We got what you wanted," but his voice trailed off, deciding that it was likely a lost cause before looking over at Angel. "I think we're looking at it." The two talked, whispered back and forth, debating whether or not they should continue and try to approach the creature or just turn back now, but they decided to continue, dropping to the ground in a crouch before slowly crawling closer. The light radiating off the crystal made it almost impossible to get a good look, but it seemed as if this creature had multiple eyes. As the two watched, she felt John's tail gently wrap around hers, but quickly moved hers away in embarrassment. "The cat didn't say what we're supposed to do with the stick," he muttered. Letting out a small sigh, he decides to continue. Angel follows him until he motions for her to stop. but he himself continues to climb closer to the creature. He carefully crept up the cave walls closer to the thing, clutching the branch tightly in between his jaws. Just gotta get up to it, probably. Like a vampire, right through the heart. He got as close as he was willing to before leaping at the thing, intending to ram the branch through its slimy form, only to hear the horrifying sound of the twig branch snapping against it. Immediately the creature splits in two, the larger one letting out a horrible screech as the smaller one shoots directly for Angel, who was waiting below. The small, slimy creature immediately started to attack her face. She kept her mouth closed as it seemingly tried to get in. The creature now completely covered her face and she couldn't see a thing. Leaping to her paws, she runs and slams into the moonstone, it knocking her unconscious. At the same time, John slipped, losing his footing as he was startled by the sudden dislodging of the second creature. The broken pieces of the pointless branch tumbled down alongside him as his body went limp for a few moments on the ground, very close to Angel's. John stood up almost immediately as he hit the ground, wincing and shaking the pain off as he hurried to Angel's side, his worried eyes flicking back to the creature every few moments. "Angel, please, wake up. We have to go. Right now." Angel tried to get up, but it was difficult. John instinctively reached down and helped pick her up. The two of them began running as best as they could out of the cave when they suddenly realized that they were being followed. Thankfully, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and that helped the two make it out. Turning back, they realized that the creature had stopped. John was the first to speak after he finally caught his breath. It stopped. Angel scowled as she locked eyes with the creature. Why? It had no problem attacking me. The branch didn't work, but maybe it's something about the cave? He cut himself off as soon as he came to the sudden realization. Or the darkness. It isn't entering the light, and the cat called it dark. Angel finally broke eye contact with the creature and looked over at John. "Huh?" she whispered, looking still puzzled as ever. She returned her gaze back towards the creature, taking a few steps closer to sort of hide behind a tree. "Maybe we need to bring them out here. You know, that could work. Actually, yeah, that could work. Since all the black slime was always liquid, maybe the light makes it unstable, melts it or something." Angel nodded hesitantly. "Yes, but grabbing them will be the tricky part. Don't worry. You grab the bottom one, and I'll grab the top one. Okay?" "Alright, let's do it," she said. John led the way, but Angel made sure to stay close behind as the two crept closer and closer to the mouth of the cave. It was strange. The creature, the large one, didn't want to move, but the smaller one seemed to pull back into the darkness. With a single nod, they both leaped at the same time, grabbing their intended creature and dragging them into the light. As soon as the small creature hit the sunlight, it began to sputter and spat, oil and goo flying everywhere, but it was hot and burning. Angel gasped as one hit her. "It's working! And gross!" John, however, stayed silent as he pressed down on the smaller creature, making sure it couldn't get away as it slowly began to turn into mush. The small creature eventually evaporated, giving off a horrible stench. John stumbled away, watching as it became less of a cat and more of a pool, leaving only the slime-covered remains of the same cat that they had seen before, drained and mostly lifeless, but breathing. When suddenly a familiar, disheveled voice across from the dark liquid mess arose, just barely audible. Angel leaned down to hear better. "Thank you," the cat managed to speak. Angel was overcome with emotions, and she quickly picks up a leaf, trying to help clean the slime off of this poor cat's face. John stared down at it as the final writhing, bubbling motion faded, just in time for the last rays of the day to fade and the darkness to dissipate. Angel looks up at John and gives him a small smile before frowning again. "Well, what now, John?" "I think that it's over. I think," he repeats, almost mumbling to himself, before turning away and looking off into the distance. "Oh, okay. Well, I'm just happy that we're still together," she says, looking at him. He nods. "Me too, Angel. Me too." It was then that the third mysterious cat finally is able to breathe better and speak. The three of them talk, and he explains that he needs time to recover and get all of this goop off of him, but soon, if they return, he might be able to give them more information. The two of them nod and slowly turn to leave as the scene fades to black.
You've done it. Against all odds, you both have driven back the corruption in this realm. However, this is not the end of the corruption, for darkness still seeps through the cracks in your home. As promised, I will send you back, but in exchange for a return to what you know, I must now revoke your memory of this encounter. Few creatures can truly grasp the role that I play in these worlds. Perhaps in time you will grow strong enough to earn these memories back, but until that point, they will be mine to keep. Good luck, Angel and John. The road ahead is a dark one.